Monica made no further attempts to, oh, sorry, I'm reading, sorry, starting at the end. Okay, back in Dhaka, Monica called Mita at the newspaper office and asked her if she would like to come along on a field trip to a Mandi village in Monmouthshire. She needed someone to spend time with the villagers, collect some in-depth research, she said. I thought since you're a journalist, you could get your own story out of it, Monica suggested. Yes, I've wanted to do a story on Mandi song and dance for a long time, Mita said. Monica couldn't believe Mita had agreed to so readily. She was excited. What would it be like getting to know this Mita? She requisitioned a car from the office and met Mita, and Mita met her at B. I think B stands for Brat. Later, she wondered if she should have asked to pick Mita up from home. That way, she would have seen Mita's apartment, witnessed how a woman lived alone in Dhaka. The very thought filled her with a romance she had not thought of before. She recalled again her own flat in Manhattan, how she had once traveled alone across the world at a young age, how fearless and excited she had been. The road to Mymensingh was short but nasty. There were craters, many bypasses and detours. When a bus passed in the opposite direction on the narrow road, the car had to move to the slumped shoulder and wait. The entire way, the two women hardly spoke, but Monica studied Mita. Her pearl-like teeth, her shiny hair and glowing bright skin. She wanted to ask the other woman so many questions. Where had she gone to school? How many brothers and sisters did she have? The simplest, most trivial questions. She felt a strong desire to know Mita. Look, Mita pointed at the landscape through the glass window. Isn't this country beautiful? So exciting. Monica looked, but all she saw was the flat monochromatic landscape of submerged fields, endless shades of sand and mud. The only color added to the landscape by the green plants around decaying huts and the colorful clothes on the backs of passing villagers. A bare-chested farmer wearing a lungi struggled with his cow under a darkening, uncertain sky. Monica felt only desolation and hopelessness. She could not see what Mita saw. She remained silent. At the Mandi village, Mita asked the villagers many questions while Monica sat back and listened. Mita would stay behind to spend a few weeks to collect the data Monica needed. At one point, Mita asked the villagers she was interviewing, "What is the wine that you drink? And do you want some?" teased the man of the household. "We can drink tonight, we can sing and dance." Monica kept on taking notes, her heart beating fast. A Bengali woman who drank openly? What scandal! After Monica left, Mita stayed behind in the Mandi village. Monica had hoped that when Mita returned to Dhaka, she would come to her office with the notes, that they would meet over tea in the B cafeteria and talk. She had imagined all these scenes, conversations, but Mita sent the package to Monica's office by courier with a note inside in childlike handwriting in English, saying that she was ill with diarrhea. It was August now, and it rained daily. A full season had passed. Monica had seen countless biodata of men passed to her by her relatives, each one more dismal than the previous one. Monica slipped out more often to the clubs in Gulshan, willingly facing the humiliation at the gates of being able to get in only as a foreign national's guest, paying the hefty cover charge just to be near her foreign friends. One day, she ran into Mita at the American club, sitting next to that man in the ponytail. Monica went up to Mita and leaned over her. "Who is that?" she asked, pointing at the man. "This is my brother," said Mita. Then she laughed, unwomanly chuckles. "Let's say my cousin," she supplied with a smile. "Is he your lover?" Mita only smiled. Monica sat down at their table. "Tell me," she wanted to ask, "are you happy? Is this single thing really viable?" "Do you want some coffee?" Mita asked. "No, I don't drink coffee." "What? No coffee? I have not seen you smoke or drink, and now no coffee? What an empty life." Monica remembered joining Appa gossiping about Mita's endless string of lovers. "Who is he?" she asked again. The man stared into the distance, a beer bottle in hand, as if he didn't hear. Perhaps he didn't hear. "Who do you want him to be?" Mita laughed. Monica noticed that her eyes were large, her skin like coal. "Definitions are tiresome, don't you think? A woman should not be constrained by definitions. They make her uninteresting." "Uninteresting? Do you think being married is uninteresting?" Monica asked. Mita opened her bag, took out a packet, and extracted a cigarette, inserting it in her mouth.